Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of the Coma. Like I've been saying for a while, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Big ups to the fam, man. And over the weekend, man, we had some news that broke the other day about Rasheed Shahid. Now, it's not exactly the extension that we were looking for in terms of someone being signed to an extension. We were ultimately thinking that it possibly could be Alvin Kamara, that guy, one of the more important figures to the team. But nonetheless, the Saints and Mickey Loomis got busy and he made some stuff shake as Saints signed secure dynamic playmaker Rasheed Shahid to a 1-year extension to the team. And that was that was kind of a surprise move. We thought it'd be Alvin Kamara, but it's a 1-year deal. And the Saints are doing this. Y'all know why, in terms of not giving them extra long extensions. A lot of stuff is based on the success of this year, how things are going to twist and turn. And this is just how it is. So let's get into the article. Niles Carpenter, our key contributor for Saints content on whothatdaily.com. Y'all feel free to lock that in on your smartphones, devices. He says Saints have secured their phenomenal wideout return specialist Rasheed Shahid with a 1-year, $5.2 million extension, as reported by insider Adam Schefter. Rasheed, who's 25, has already made a significant impact, earning All-Pro and Pro Bowl honors last season. His 2023 campaign was impressive, tallying 46 catches for 719 yards and 5 touchdowns to go along with it. The extension ensures that the Saints retain one of their most explosive weapons on both offense and defense, all special teams rather. Would that be cool to see him as a cornerback or something like that? But anyway, I know that won't happen. But offense and special teams as the team moves forward. Attention now turns to running back Alvin Kamara, who's holding out for a new deal. Securing Alvin could be the next critical maneuver for the Saints as they aim to solidify their roster ahead of the upcoming season. And that is also the discussion that is to have. You have the extension of Rasheed Shahid and then the possible signing of Alvin Kamara. We know we're getting closer and closer to training camp, and that is something that the Saints really need to kind of cement. Let's get that going in terms of getting this out of the way. And let's look at this article right here by way of Pro Football Rumors. No progress on extension talks between Saints Alvin Kamara. This was dropped the other day. A number of receivers are at risk of skipping out the start of training camp around the NFL in the near future, but they are not alone in their respects. Saints running back Alvin Kamara's future somewhat uncertain, given his desire for a new deal. The 5-time Pro Bowler walked out of New Orleans' final minicamp practice as a sign of his unhappiness with his current situation. He's on the books for 2 more years, but his 2025 salary of $22.4 million is not guaranteed and has long been seen as a means of artificially inflating the overall value of his pact. With training camp looming, progress on negotiations will be a key storyline to follow for Kamara and the team. Now, on that note, traction does not appear to have been gained recently. Now, Nick Underhill talked about this. He dropped the scoop, and he says that the teams and player have not made notable progress in respect to a contract resolution. Now, Kamara entering, his age is 29. He represents a risky candidate for a new deal for the Saints' perspective, given the age in which the running backs tend to drop off in terms of production. Now, the former third rounder is, though, open to a restructure to his existing pact rather than an extension tacking on several years to his New Orleans tenure. Despite missing the first 3 games of the 23 campaign through suspension, Kamara managed to top 1,100 scrimmage yards and secure 6 total touchdowns. Talks on a new agreement have taken place during the offseason, but as Nick Underhill latest reports echoes earlier, one suggests that nothing imminent. Considering the state of the running back market in 2024 notwithstanding, Kamara could be a hard pressed to land a notable raise on a new or reworked contract. Now, several backs quickly found new homes during the free agency period, including Christian McCaffrey secured a raise of his new 49ers pack. He leads the way in terms of the AAV at the position with about $19 million annually. Now, while Kamara remains in second with $15 million, the latter figure will be altered one way or another, consider the nature of the 25 structure. But whether or not that happens in the immediate future remains to be seen. Kamara would be subject to $50,000 in mandatory daily fines if engaged in training camp. holdout. Okay, so that's the gist of it. And let's kind of talk about this quickly. The reality is, in the Saints do have a deep running back room. You put Taysom in there, you got Jamal Williams, got Kendre Miller. Those guys complete and round out the Saints running room. Alvin Kamara understands his value. And if the Saints want to truly have an opportunity to break the 3-year slide or the departure, there's the limbo of being a 9-playoff team, they need Alvin Kamara. Now, we know a lot of the running backs across the NFL's rooms, their contracts, the role is devalued to a degree. You know, you have that old rule about there's always an outlier. That's Alvin Kamara. That's Christian McCaffrey. Those guys are not just running backs. Those guys are multi-purpose backs that do everything. They can become wide receivers. They're an impact weapon, just like Christian McCaffrey is to the 49ers. Alvin Kamara is that for the Saints. He's a guy. Now, his numbers were down last year and the year before that because the Saints were incompetent in how they used Alvin Kamara. The offensive line didn't block well enough. Pete Carmichael's systems were milquetoast in nature, and they didn't get full value out of Alvin Kamara on top of his Las Vegas stuff that cost him 3 games. But the thing is, Alvin Kamara, there is still a value for Alvin Kamara, especially if you're the New Orleans Saints. You definitely want to at least have 2 more years tacked on there and move that forward. I think that gives the Saints enough room where they can be able to develop Kendre Miller. They still have the complement in Jamal Williams. Taysom Hill is also coming up on a contract year. So, you know, depending on how they choose to use him. But Alvin Kamara is a key to all of this for the Saints having a playoff run, making the playoffs, winning in the NFC South, making the playoffs and making a playoff run, not just getting there and be happy, but also seeing if they can win a game. So, and I've said, and I'm on record for saying that I think the Saints get this done. And I was like, yeah, we should be able to see something happen. But if you're Mickey Loomis and Kai Harley, you've got to be in communication with Alvin Kamara's agent to figure out how you guys can come together and get a deal done where you get him into training camp on time because of the implementation of a new offensive system, which you will want Alvin Kamara hitting the ground running. So we don't need to see any of the other stuff. We really don't. We don't need to see him holding out, letting that loom over the top of the team among a critical year, and when the Saints don't need any more distractions. They need to have all their best offensive pieces in place, ready to go at day 1 of training camp. That's what we need. We don't need anything else. Although I am very happy that Rasheed Shahid did get an extension of 1 year on his deal, because that was, Rasheed Shahid's a good young wide receiver. But Alvin Kamara, in my estimation, Alvin Kamara is a critical piece of what the Saints want to do from an offensive standpoint. And he is the Saints' Christian McCaffrey. In many regards, I believe that he can do more than a Christian McCaffrey, meaning he can excel and do the similar things and some of the things better than a Christian McCaffrey does. Now that the Saints have a very similar system in which they'll use to get Alvin Kamara done, that is absolutely something the Saints need to explore. And I'm saying once this gets done, I think Alvin Kamara will have his best season this year in the Saints offense, with John Benton getting the offensive line together and the Saints open up running lanes. Alvin Kamara should have his best season rushing and have his best complete season than we've seen here over the next 2 years. Hopefully they can get that done. So we'll see how that rolls. But what do you guys think, man, here? Y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you think about Rasheed Shahid? First of all, shout out to Rasheed Shahid for getting his contract extension. Big ups to that guy. He earned it. And that's what happens when you have young guys that kind of step in there and they do what they're supposed to do. And he represented, worked hard, got a 1 year, $5.2 million extension, worked hard, became a Pro Bowler. And shout out to Alvin Kamara, who we want to see AK-41 back happy with a new deal, getting ready in time for training camp so the Saints can hit the ground running. Man, listen, we don't need no snafus here. We really don't. Last year, AK was missing several weeks while we had to kind of move on without him. This year and in the final, I ain't gonna say the final year, but in the third year under Dennis Allen, we need our best offensive people, our best offensive players in position at day one during training camp to make sure we push forward and gain success. There's nothing more than that, because be honest with you, when the first 4, 5, 6, not the first week, but hangover of Carolina, but the first 6 weeks of the season, even into the Sean Payton matchup on the short week Thursday, it's going to be critical games, and you really don't want to play around but not having Alvin Kamara in training camp, learning the system, the new system that everybody has to learn. So with that being said, man, listen, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for chiming in on this episode of the Sports Coma. Just feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the show on your social media feed. I'll be back Monday. I'll dig into this topic a little deeper on our next stream. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also feel free to share the show on your social media feed. I'm about this thing. Peace. Go Saints.